my channel again. In my previous video, remember I was explaining this poem, The Cold Within. So I would be completing this poem in this video. I would be covering the remaining few portions left. Let's get started and keep watching. The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. So we have the rich man here. He is in focus and he is sitting there with his log of wood and is thinking of all the wealth that he has accumulated over a period of time and as to how to keep that wealth safe from the hands of these lazy, shiftless poor. Shiftless means someone who doesn't have an ambition, someone who doesn't have any goal. So according to this rich man, whatever he has earned, it's all because of his own consistent effort. He is totally oblivious of the various sufferings that these poor people undergo in their lives and how they are victims of classism. So you can understand how greedy this man is, and he is so over possessive of his money that he fears. He's literally fearful that what if this poor man comes and steals away my money? So he has this preconceived notion in him. He is extremely biased in his views towards others, that he lacks the initiative to come forward and help everyone. So he denied to offer his log of wood. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. Remember when we had first begun the poem, The Cold Within, the first character we met was this woman who was a racist. She was a victimizer. And now we meet directly with the victimized. So this black man, he's a victim of racial discrimination, and for a prolonged period of time he has been subjected to a lot of discrimination and he has suffered a lot in the hands of these white. So his face bespoke revenge. Bespoke means to express a certain emotion or feeling. So he was waiting for the time, and he considers this time to be the ideal opportunity to exact the revenge upon the white. See, to some extent, his feelings of resentment, his anger, it's natural. We can empathize with his feelings. But when this anger turns into a deep-rooted sense of revenge, it goes against the values of humanity. What are the values of humanity? Love, compassion, generosity, warmth, cooperation. But he could not look beyond his narrow prejudices. All he wanted to do was to take revenge upon the white. He was so blinded by his sense of revenge that he forgot that this is not the time to fight with each other or to take revenge. This is the time to come together and fight this common enemy. So it's definitely a sin that all of them are committing. So this log of wood is a kind of an opportunity that he sees to seek his revenge upon the white. Just the way he has suffered in the hands of the white, he fails to come forward and offer his log because he thinks that what if the white man benefits of the situation? It's unacceptable. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. So we have the last man of this group here, and the poet has used the word forlorn. Look at the word choice here. It's highly ironical that a group consisting of 6 individual members can be forlorn. Forlorn is, it means sad. It means lonely. So this group was completely cut off. They were completely alienated from the outside world, and they were trapped in this situation from where there was no means of escape. Very minimum chances of survival. But in spite of that, they failed to realize the gravity of the situation. Had they offered their logs of wood, they would have, or they could have saved each other. So what kind of a man was this? He was a very opportunistic man. He had a very materialistic, transactional approach towards life. He only reciprocated when he got something in return. He couldn't even imagine of helping someone or extending his arms of support until and unless he got benefited in any way. So he always thought of being in a profitable state, very opportunistic, and he lacked the initiative of coming forward and helping each other. Very unfortunate. So this man basically was, he believed in this give and take policy of life, and he literally failed to overcome these narrow-mindedness and such lack of generosity. Coming to the final stanza of the poem, their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They did not die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. Beautiful lines. These lines are steeped in irony. So perhaps the next morning their bodies were discovered. Ultimately the fire died out, and so did they. So these human beings, these 6 humans, they chose to sit back with their hatred, with their envy, with their animosity, and perish and collapse to death rather than overcoming their prejudices. That's so much deep-seated in them that they were unable to sacrifice their egos and their hatred. So they did not die from the cold without. So literally it means they did not die because of the cold weather. But on a metaphorical level, it has a deep meaning, the last line. They died from the cold within. They did not die due to the cold weather outside, but they died due to the coldness in their hearts. Their coldness in their hearts in the form of apathy, animosity, hatred, indifference, lack of warmth. All of this invited their death, and even in their death, they were holding these logs of wood so tightly. Even in their death, they failed to realize, and they could not let go of their discrimination. They could not let go of their discriminatory outlooks. So not only could they overcome these stereotypical prejudices, but also they lacked a sense of foresight. They were not practical in any way. Had they come forward and offered their logs into the fire, they would have been saved. Well, this is what happens when you are so much overcome with hatred, with so much of negativity. Your end is inevitable. So I found the poem extremely relevant today. Even today it's relevant. We can relate to the themes of the poem. And while reading this poem, it moved me so much. And I was wondering that what would the world look like if there was no discrimination, like a world without discrimination. Imagine a world without discrimination. A world where nobody is held back because of the things they are unable to change about themselves. A world where a man is given his due credit on the basis of his merit and not on the basis of his skin color. A world which Martin Luther King dreamt of. So if we want that world, if we want that paradise to happen, we will have to come forward and work for it. We'll have to be the change that we wish to see in the world. Just simply playing John Lennon's Imagine will not change anything. So, as a society, as individuals, we'll have to come forward and fight our common enemy. And it's high time we will have to make sure that this very word discrimination becomes extinct. and this very word discrimination becomes history. We'll have to work towards it, and I'm sure all of us are capable in doing that. So that was all. I hope my ICSE students benefited from this video. You can post your query and questions in the comment section below, and I would be very glad if you share your feelings and opinions about the poem. And that's all. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon.